Morning, Arsene. Of course, Liverpool on Sunday. How's the mood in the squad been this week?
Well, the mood is determined and focused, and in a preparing mode for our next game.
3 days to go, of course, still. But what's your early team news?
The early team news is that Koscielny is back available for selection, and that Sanchez has worked very hard to be back again, and he is available as well.
How's Alexis looked in training?
He works very hard, very focused, and gives absolutely everything. He loves so much to play, you know, that it's always difficult to stop him. But he looks ready. He has not played for a long time, so I will have to decide what I do with him, but he's ready to play.
And finally, from me, we'll host Doncaster in the third round of the Carabao Cup. What's your reaction to the draw?
Sorry?
Doncaster at home in the third round of the League Cup.
Well, we want to do well in the League Cup. It's for us a good opportunity to give a young players a chance, and we have some good young players who have done well in pre-season, and the League Cup will continue to be that.
As things stand at the moment, Arsene, thanks for your time. Do you think Sanchez will be in the starting lineup at Anfield?
I will have to make that decision. We are first day today, you know, we play on Sunday, and overall he looks in a good shape. Yes, he has worked very hard.
With everything that's going on around him, largely involving the media, are you really impressed by that attitude that you've spoken about, that he's determined to try and win his way into the starting lineup?
He has always been focused, Alexis, on his job. You know, he loves to play football, and I don't think he's too much disturbed by all the noises that happen. Players at that level are used to it now. Some deal better with it than others, but he's one of them. I don't think who is too much bothered by that.
And he's settled by the club's decision. He's happy with that decision.
He's very focused, very happy, you know. As I told you, the fact that he goes into the last year of his contract doesn't mean that we don't have no chance to extend it. At the moment, we haven't managed to do it, I agree, but we just want to focus as a team and not look too much at the individual conditions of the contracts of everybody, because that doesn't, what is important is what you want to achieve together.
But it sounds very much like you haven't given up hope of extending.
But look, let's not go too far. Let's focus on Sunday.
If he is involved, starts or is involved at Anfield, will he travel to Chile?
Yeah, of course. Chile is as well in the important stage of their qualifiers. They are not through, and he's available to travel for Chile. Yes.
So, when he comes back, you would expect him to be an Arsenal player?
Yeah.
Is there a meeting today between Ivan, yourself and Alex?
We have our agendas that are quite busy, but we do not publish them.
We're very nosy, aren't we?
Look, some people outside the club look better informed than I am, so I don't know really. My secretary has my schedule, my agenda. I will check what I have to do today.
Has Alex made it clear to you that he doesn't want to stay at the club?
Look, all these conversations that I want Alex to stay at the club and to be one of the big players of the future at this club, and I think this team, he's one of the players the team has to be built around in the future. And personally, I want him to commit to the club and to be one of the carriers of the values of our team. Yes.
You've spoken about your busy schedule. Has your personal assistant told you about any bid for Alex from anybody at all?
I know every bid we have, of course, but I think the best is for us to focus on Sunday's game.
Jack Wilshere, can you understand his reaction in that under-23 game?
At my stage and my experience in football, I can understand a lot, you know, especially what happened to him. ideally should not have responded at all, but when you have gone through what he has gone through, you can see that with bad tackles it was a human reaction, and I think at the moment as well he's on working very, very hard to come back after his fracture, you know, so overall another setback for him would be terrible, and I think it was a bad tackle.
Has that commitment that he's showing changed your view about his future?
You know how much I love Jack and his talent, and I started him at the age of 17. But today in the football world, you need to consistent presence, and what is at stake for Jack is not his quality, not his talent, not his determination. It's his consistent presence at the top, and I hope he can manage to do that after nobody questions his quality here.
Do you expect to lose Mustafi before the end of the transfer window?
No, I don't expect. It's difficult for me to speak about any individual cases, you know, because the transfer market in a final, we are now in the final 7 days of the transfer market, and it's always very difficult to predict what will happen there, and you have to make quick and sharp decisions, and you cannot plan that and come out in a press conference with how you will respond to any solicitation.
Thanks for your patience. I've got two more questions if I may, because I know you've got to move on. It's Liverpool, obviously, on Sunday, and they've got a problem, a really big problem with one of their star players, Coutinho. Silly money being offered. He wants to go. He's in a different situation to Sanchez in that he's put in a transfer request. How do you handle it, just generally speaking, how do you handle a situation like that?
Every situation is different, you know, it depends what has been agreed sometimes between you and the players, and so it's very difficult for me to interfere in that because I don't know what's happening between Coutinho and Liverpool. I can only I have enough to deal with my own situations here, and I don't know where he stands towards Liverpool or where Liverpool stands towards him. It's difficult to say. I'm not even sure that Barcelona is in for him. I don't know.
But if, generally speaking, if a player is determined to leave, is it difficult to keep him?
It's always difficult because you want your players to be happy, yes, but the players have as well contracts, and but in general you want the players to stay with their club when they have contracts, but every situation is different, and you have to know really internally what's going on.
England's greatest ever goal scorer has retired from international football. Do you support that decision? Do you think it's the right thing for Wayne Rooney?
I think it's the right thing, yes, because he has given a lot to England. He's one of the last of a great generation, you know, who had the bad luck maybe not to win the World Cup, for example, but it doesn't take away that he has been a great contribution for England, and what he has done is absolutely remarkable. And I believe that he's at the stage of his career where he has to focus on the club if you want to play regularly, and it's the right decision.
Thank you. Next time, no transfer talk, at least.
Yeah, thank you.
With the silly transfer fees that have been going around this summer, I mean, how much harder has that made it for you to keep hold of Alexis Sanchez? Because you must be worried that you're going to get a phone call from someone saying, all right, I'll give you 100 or 150 million for him.
You know, I had to deal many times in my life with big departures, big players, and I always focus more on the team and to deal with all the rest. No matter what is important is Arsenal and the team. Of course, you want to keep your best players, but if it happens, you always think if it happens, you have to find a way to survive at the top level and to find a way to make the team efficient. So you don't focus too much on individual players. You focus more on how the team can be strong enough to deal with what can happen.
I've been asked to ask you some people in my office. So, if Oxlade-Chamberlain was to go, would you send to Chelsea because they're the ones that have been linked with him?
I want to keep my best players. I just told you, and so I have only one target: is to keep everybody on board. I think we invested a lot time and confidence and money in players like Alex Chamberlain that we bought at a very young age. And for me, they have a responsibility for the future of this club, because Alex Chamberlain will be one of the big English players in the coming years. And I personally am highly determined to keep him here at the club, and I hope he will commit.
Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Man City, yourselves have all dropped points in the opening couple of games. What does that tell you about how the Premier League title race is going to be this season?
I don't know. It's too early. I think Tottenham and Chelsea played against each other, so somebody had to drop points. I think that Everton got a surprising result at City with a quality game. And on our side, I think we dropped points we should not have dropped at all. It's maybe the points we dropped at Stoke in all the history years that we should have less have dropped, at 77% possession and huge number of goal chances, and overall it's too early to come to any conclusion.
And finally, from me, Anfield, you enjoy going there. You've got some good results there over the years.
Yes, that's good memories and bad memories as well sometimes, but overall it's true that we have done well at Anfield, and we want to do well again.
Overall, how happy are you with the strength of the squad? You know, as you say, you've got.
I'm happy with the strength of the squad. I'm completely happy with the strength of the squad, and I have said many times, I have even too many players in our squad who are. Some of them will have no chance to compete for places because we have too much competition for places is not good as well, because the players have no chance to play. And on the other hand, one of the values of this club is to give a chance to young players who deserve it. And if you have too many players of confirmed status, you are in a difficult position to give a chance to young players. And we have the luck to have 3-4 players who have a top quality and deserve a chance.
In terms of then the final 7 days, do you see people going rather than arriving, or are you still in the market?
Both can happen, It depends how many players will go to see if we can bring one. You're on alert in the last 7 days, and everybody gets agitated, and the phones ring more often than before, and sometimes you have to share the work in the final day of because you have some cases going out, some coming in, and the last 2 days are always very hectic.
Are you agitated at all then, in terms of phones ringing?
No, I'm focused this morning on a training session, because that's what can help us to win the game on Sunday.
One other thought, just following on from what Jurgen Klopp said yesterday, in terms of qualifying for the Champions League, how much more easy does it make it if a club is in the Champions League to a club which isn't in the Champions League in terms of...
I don't know how much, in my case, I don't know, because it's the first time we are in the Europa League. And so overall, I don't think... I believe that nowadays in England, the Premier League has taken over the Champions League in kind of preparation, because you feel that the games in the Premier League are more difficult than the Champions League group stage qualifying. I don't speak after the group stage, but for many times it happens to you that when you go to smaller teams, that you rest some players because on Saturday you have a big Premier League game. So I would say on that front, the Premier League has taken over the Champions League group stage.
Arsene, earlier in the summer there was a lot of speculation linking Arsenal with Thomas Lemar at Monaco. Is that deal dead now, or do you think it's still possible?
That's dead, because Monaco, I think, has closed the door definitely. And because they are still on cases like Mbappe, Fabinho. They lost already Mendy, Bernardo Silva, and Bakayoko. So Monaco is at the stage where they have closed the door.
How much of a frustration is that for you?
Well, we can, as I told you, we have the numbers, we have the quality, to deal with that.
You mentioned Mbappe as well. I mean, there's talk about 138 million plus a player to PSG.
180.
180. When you think that 2 years ago you nearly got him for
That's a
nothing.
speed limit.
When you think that 2 years ago you nearly got him for nothing, how do you sort of reflect on how that's gone
That
up?
shows you how quickly it goes up and down in life. But you know, it becomes at the moment abstraction. You do not. It's just a number. It's very difficult to imagine nowadays. We have moved last year for the first time over 100, and we just 1 year later over 200. Will that go on? I don't know, but it looks like it doubles every year now on the transfer market, and it looks to me to reach a stage where it's very difficult to predict where it will go. Nobody really knows in our job.